2013 when we signed our distribution contract with RMGT. The previous 6 years, 1 or maybe 2 RMGT presses, they were called Ryobis then, had been sold in all of North America. So let's put it this way, our basis was quite low at that moment, and we've done pretty well, I think, since then. We're going to be doing a press release in the next couple of days, but about 60 miles from here at a company called BRD Printing, our 50th 9 series will be delivered in a couple of weeks. So pretty proud of that. 50 machines in, I guess, about 9.5, 10 years. That's not a bad clip. Well, I think it's kind of the same secret sauce that my dad had many years ago. We were founded in 1976, but in the early 80s, we got into the equipment side. And we've always had a ratio of somewhere around 5 or 6 to 1 service technicians to salespeople. And that has allowed us, I think, to a large extent, to make sure that we always take great care of the customers that we have. And with RMGT, it's not that hard. The machines really don't break. When they do, they're very seldom actually all the way down. And our technical team makes sure that they're right back up and running very quickly. We're a family business. And in many ways, I feel like 80, 90% of our customers are also family businesses. So there's kind of a relationship there that they're just never going to get with someone who works for some big stock company that are much bigger than our company. I mean, I'm not insulting those people. I'm just saying that they don't have that same make a payroll every 2 weeks, maybe skip a paycheck yourself because times are tough. These are all things that I've gone through in my life, and I'd say, you know, a huge percentage of our customers have as well. So there's a real family synergy there. I think that like any partnership, you know, there's days when one partner is kind of carrying the other partner, and then there's days when it's the vice versa. And that's what really has built a lot of these friendships that are also great business relationships. That's how I feel about it, at least. I probably work 12 hours a day on average. It's nice to have a big part of that be engagement with people that you genuinely like, respect, and are in business with, versus it being cantankerous or, you know, whatever the alternative might be. So RMGT started with actually 7 different distributors here in North America. We're now down to 4 total. And what happened with that is that they expanded our patch all the way down to Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee, which, by the way, is really a great market space. We have a lot of equipment that's already been delivered there and that's going in very soon. So we're very fortunate that way. Interestingly, my wife and I were actually at the Ryobi factory more than 20 years ago when we were just a dealer for a big company called Expedex that used to be the distributor. And I still do remember walking into that factory and just thinking, not only do these guys have it going on, but it was such a modern, efficient factory. I had been in 2 or 3 other Japanese factories previously, and I'm still convinced that that is the most productive plant really in our whole industry that I've ever been in. Well, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we're going to be leaving with 2 of our great customers. One's in Toledo called Metzger's. They bought a 10-color press from us in 2015. And then we also have another 10-color customer called Advertisers Printing in St. Louis. So it's the 10th anniversary for RMGT, and we luckily have 2 10-color customers traveling with me to go over and kind of help celebrate that 10th anniversary. Well, we certainly enjoy bringing the customers there, and I would agree with you. This will be easily our 12th or 15th trip with customers that we've brought to Japan. I'm not a perfect tour guide, but I'm getting okay, I guess, and I enjoy bringing them not only to the factory, but also to tour in both Kyoto and in Tokyo, which is fun. I think it helps our customers maybe better understand why these machines are so ship-shape and so well organized. Because you think about it, the city of Tokyo has 20 million people during the day inside of the city limits, and only 12 million there at night. That means that somehow 8 million people commute in and out of the city of Tokyo every business day of the year. You've got to have a great organization to do that, and that's part of how they build these presses so well, is that it's just baked into their DNA. Well, that's a really great question, and I'll be honest, at first it was a little bit of a detriment. I mean, we would have people walk into a trade show booth and say, "Oh, you're selling a half size," as if that was a pejorative somehow. And you say, well, no, here's the sheet that we're printing. But to your point, the 8 color behind us is only 38 feet long. I have now 16 of these machines installed, either 8s or 10s. All but 3 of them, so that's 12, are being run by one press operator. Now, the truth is that what that saves these shops is each shift somewhere around $65,000 if you figure the wages, the overhead, the FICA, the workers' comp, all of that. Imagine how many net sales dollars somebody has to generate to pay for that helper on one of these 40-inch machines. It just doesn't really make sense. The economics of these is just so strong. Well, let me say this, you brought my dad up earlier as far as the founder of GraphCo. Starting when I was 22, my dad absolutely beat into my sort of salesman's psyche that we had to cost justify that expenditure. Whether that was a Balm folder that only cost $9,000 or at the time a $400,000 4-color, what I can say without question is that the machine behind us producing 4/4 16-page signatures, it's the lowest cost of manufacturing on the planet. Inkjet can't touch it. No offense to the L press, it can't touch it. None of them can generate work at the same price point. And that is a really important factor in selling printing. By the way, the quality is beautiful. It's LED cured. It has great rub resistance in the mail stream, vibrant colors. So when you have all of those factors and a much lower cost of manufacturing, you've heard us use the unfair advantage as our motto at GraphCo. Our customers all around the whole GraphCo territory are really enjoying that. And you're right, the economics just make sense. I get comments at every show from, sort of old school printers that, are reminded of the days when they used to walk into McCormick Place and there were, 8 machines just in the Heidelberg booth alone, let alone all the others. And now we're down to the only one. But I can tell you that every one of those shows, we've come out with deals that we would not have ordinarily gotten because a customer comes in, they see our technology, they can sort of kick the tires, as they used to say, and they feel like, hey, this is a legitimate piece of equipment from a legitimate company like GraphCo, and the moving ahead becomes much more automatic at that point. So I need to really acknowledge Derek Gordon, who's worked for us now for a decade. That was really his brainchild. We called it the Elite LED User Group. We've now kind of dropped the LED out because it's really all RMGT users. But you're right, Morton. Every one of the shows, we have a get-together. This is a great chance for these folks to kind of compare notes on what they're seeing in the industry. We also have a listserv. That's kind of an old word now, but where these guys can reach out to each other with technical questions, advice on supplies. And believe me, during Corona, the fact that those guys could find out who had ink and who had solutions and who had blankets when the supply chain was a wreck was very, very beneficial, in addition to learning you got to put 2 ounces in instead of 2.5 or whatever. It was very, it's a great group. GraphCo is blessed to be a full-line distributor for printing equipment of all different kinds and finishing as well. So, my dad entered into an engagement with the folks at Standard, who now import the Horizon, and that was in 1983. So we've been involved with that company for a very, very long time. And again, a very family related. I mean, Guy Rennie and my dad were friends, and Guy flew to Cleveland to sign that agreement. Well, so today we distribute the Horizon equipment in, I believe it's 7 states. So we have quite a large patch. And it's a very, very important part of our offering. The printing equipment, of course, feeds into the finishing, and we've had a great relationship there. Well, we feel like that, and I mean, I hope our customers agree with that. Our service team, which I definitely live and die on that service department at GraphCo. They take great care of our customers, whether it be on the press room or the finishing floor. But in just a couple of weeks at the ISA show, we're going to be exhibiting one of our first sales for SD. It's actually the customer allowed us to utilize their machine as our demonstration at the ISA. So SD Italy really kind of carves out a neat niche in that wide format finishing department. There are tons of companies that can do the cutting, and most of those have some sort of a router that they attach to it. We have up to 13 kilowatt routers, so we're routing out like 5 and 6 inches worth of material. But oh, by the way, the same machine can also cut yard signs or frankly, even like vinyl kiss cut type of work. So it's a very hybrid solution. So that's new for us. And then Foliant, which is in the Czech Republic, they make, we feel, the finest laminating equipment in the world. And a really neat synergy is that Horizon is known very strongly in the book binding business. Probably 75% of our Foliant laminators are laminating a book cover, at least as a lion's share of what they do. So we have a lot of other products as well, but those are really the ones that kind of come to mind initially. I feel it is, and I mean, we're coming off 3 years in a row. By the way, 2 of them were Corona, that were the 3 best years for GraphCo, each one better than the last. And this year so far, we have right now 10 new RMGT presses that are booked, that will be delivered and installed, and we have 2 other very high-end pre-owned RMGT presses. So that's a dozen. That's a really good year, and it's only right now the middle of March. So, I mean, imagine what we're gonna sell through Drupa and all the rest. So yeah, the sky really is the limit right now.